Hello, John.
Hello, Alex.
Do you know what I hate?
What is it that you hate?
Six-string samurai ripoffs?
Yep. Yep.
Hey, John, can you think of a movie that's just like a six-string samurai ripoff?
Yeah. Sadly, I can think of one. I think calling it a six-string samurai ripoff is too kind.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so we did Prisoners of the Ghostland, starring Nicolas Cage. All right, so let me wait. I'm going to be positive first. One, this movie looks gorgeous. It is shot very well.
So, hey, Tanikawa, who did the cinematography, when it is bright and colorful, it's gorgeous. But
yeah.
A good portion of the movie is not that. Is this kind of gray, washed out tone that so many things are now.
So before we get into like the nitty gritty of the movie and talk about some of the plot stuff, I would just like to just throw out this. Is one, six-string samurai ripoff, except it doesn't have good music in it. Mm-hmm. And Nicolas Cage could not be a worse casting choice. It is, he's fine. He does exactly what you hire Nicolas Cage for. Like, if I were making this movie and hired Nicolas Cage, that is the exact performance I would expect out of him. However, in the six-string samurai style, this lead needs to be about 27, needs to be sexy and cool and come across as something kind of neato, like, because this is a very like kind of anime style thing. Like you need Spike from Cowboy Bebop, somebody kind of that's got some sex to him. This is just a doughy middle-aged guy that just has no cool left in him.
Well,
and I'm sorry to be so mean to Nicolas Cage because he does as good as you can for this but he's 20 years too old for the role, and he's 30 years too old for the role.
Yeah, I just think there's nothing to the role. I think Nicolas Cage in the role is the only thing the role has going for it. It's because it's I mean, his name is Hero. He's just generic as hell. And I see what you're going for. It's just like it's a different kind of thing. And like it's the wrong kind of presence, I suppose you could argue. Because Nicolas Cage like brings some serious presence to it. And just hearing him say testicle is amazing. But
Truth.
Yeah. I mean, I there is so much I didn't care about in this movie that I like that's way down on the list.
So have you ever seen the movie? Oh, I can't think of the name of it right now. With Brad Pitt, he's got a pompadour. He's like a rockabilly guy.
Johnny Suede.
I want like a Johnny Suede in the lead here. Like something. I want some cool, because that movie's the same thing where he's got no real personality. He's like, his personality is his hair.
Right.
And it kind of works. Nicolas Cage brings so much to it, almost like highlights the rest of the movie's problems instead of just having like a template, you know, a guy that you can write anything onto as the lead, instead of Nicolas Cage, who is making every choice and using every choice in every scene. And I love that.
Yeah.
I will never tire of Nicolas Cage doing batshit crazy things. Nothing against him, just not for this movie.
Hi fucking yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful line read.
Oh yeah, when he goes, I'll karate chop you. Hi fucking yeah.
But like it's also, but to me it's the only life that this movie has. Like this just feels like the director of it, Sion Sono, has made tons of movies, is known for being kind of stylish and pushing the envelope and edgy. And this movie did make me curious about his output, like the movies that he's done that's not in relationship with Hollywood. But this movie itself is awful. And it seems like warmed over, like you said, like Six-String Samurai, Takashi Miike, Sukiyaki Western Django. Because it's all stuff that I've seen before and seen done a lot better. And in fact, this seems like, as much as I complained about Malignant feeling like the Starbucks version of like crappy Italian horror movies, this just feels almost the same thing. Like this is like he learned these movies by rote and then went, well, I can do that.
I got a bit of Southland Tales in it too.
A bit of what?
Southland Tales. That kind of awkward timed, like you know, like the Rock's character from that, where everything's like a little off tempo, and it's used for better effect than that.
Right.
So what I would like in this movie.
And here's a whole bunch of exposition that you don't want right now. That's also big Southland Tales.
Oh yeah, but just fucking, if this movie would be 40% better with a soundtrack.
Yeah.
The pacing of this movie would be so much improved. Just get some public domain rock songs, whatever. Just Man, this movie, because I think there's a lot of good stuff in it, but it doesn't work as a movie, like almost at all. But there's some really good scenes, there's some really good stuff happening, but you throw like a rock soundtrack in the background, like Six String Samurai style, love it.
Or even just like a goofy ass synth soundtrack, something. Yeah, but just give it some life, because what's there, and no offense to the Joseph Trapanese, who did the music. I'm sorry, but that's a very dumb name.
I almost turned him once. Well, I thought so.
That made me laugh. Okay.
You should be. Honestly, you should be. Yeah.
But it's just, it's pretty forgettable. But yeah, giving this thing some kind of spirit that way would be nice. Because like I said, there's moments that's very pretty. But yeah, this is all just like a collect. We just, in the episode we did about Police Story, we talked about Jackie Chan creating this movie out of bits of stunts he wanted to do. And this just seems like bits of ideas someone had. Yeah. Not really coalesced into anything.
No, it's just cool shit he wanted to film and then didn't bother to like really plot around it.
Yeah.
I have something important to tell you, though. When Nicolas Cage thought it's better for the story and also for Sion Sono's health to move production from Mexico to Japan, both Ed Skrein and, I'm going to give you one guess who, dropped out. That's right. Imogen Poots.
Oh, no, not Imogen Poots.
2 episodes in a row, I get to say Imogen Poots.
Oh, no. But we did do this is another episode with Sophia Boutella. She makes it after The Kingsman. She's in this one, too.
Sophia Boutella is who in this and who in Kingsman?
She was Knife Feet in Kingsman. And she is like...
Oh, my God, that's Knife Feet.
That's Knife Feet.
Oh, this movie just went up like 7% in my esteem.
But see, to me, it goes down because they didn't give her enough to do.
Oh, that's fine. Because there's one, we'll get to it when we talk about it in order. Another thing I want to point out is that Nicolas Cage met his very, very inappropriately underaged wife on the set of this movie. She's not underage. She's just incredibly too young.
Right, just a giant age gap.
Yeah, she plays one of the mannequins in this. And I think she's 27. And I think Nicolas Cage is, I believe, in his early 60s at this point.
Yeah, he's ageless.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Like that's like that half plus 7 thing. Like she's 10 years too young for half plus 7.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I mean, look, whatever. If they love each other, I'm not, they're both consenting adults, but like, that's a little like, I mean,
yeah. His buddy Psycho, the guy that looks like a death mask of Peter Stormare, that is the director of The Notebook.
What?
Yeah. Nick Cassavetes.
That's Nick Cassavetes?
Like, the kid of John Cassavetes, tremendous filmmaker.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's my mistake. I was thinking of John Cassavetes.
Yeah, no, John Cassavetes is long dead.
I don't know who Nick Cassavetes is.
Nick Cassavetes is his son, who directed. It was an actor, and he's been in a bunch of other stuff, but like he was Dietrich Hassler in Face Off. But he directed The Notebook.
John Cassavetes is dead.
John Cassavetes is very dead. Huh. He's the most dead you can be.
For some reason, I thought John Cassavetes was current.
No.
Not current, but I mean, like, I thought he was, like, working in the past, like, 20 years. Oh, shit. Okay.
Nope. He died.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not arguing. I just more pointing out my extreme ignorance.
He died. All right. That's all there is to it.
I don't believe it. Not Cassie. My sweet, sweet Cassie.
He was an amazing guy, but also, unfortunately, dead.
There's a La Tigre song about him, which is why I remember his name.
Oh, well, that's nice. You should watch some of his movies. They're good.
Yeah.
Also, he's in a good episode of Columbo.
That I'm more interested in. I'm pretty sure I've seen multiple Cassavetes films. I just can't think of them right now. Speaking of not Cassavetes, one of the signs that we're in trouble for movies, and this show, the premise is we at least try to watch movies that are attempts to be good. Like we're not here to dunk. We're here to dunk on movies that attempts were made. Is when there's like 16 production company logos before the movie starts. And this movie has a lot of fucking production companies. And it, as they kept showing up, just my hopes for this being like some really cool thing just starts like like my health bar is just like just slowly dropping down. And there's a lot of producers, a lot of production companies, which makes me think this was a lot of hidden mob money or some kind of sneaky backstage shit.
What I always think of, and it's completely unfair, But what I always think of is in the early days of YouTube, the majority of YouTube was like clips from Family Guy. And they would all start with like the Windows Movie Maker pre-built thing. It's like Joker Face Productions presents, and it'd just be a clip from Family Guy. It would be like some jackass doing that. And so I always just think that it's like, yeah, it's someone's brother-in-law or something, you know, like there doesn't need to be this many production companies, but somehow there are. Video games are like that a lot too, where you're just like, okay, how many people made this freaking thing?
But the movie does start off very strong. There's this gorgeous shot of the inside of a bank with a gumball machine and a kid looking at it with his mask held backwards. And I'm like, I even wrote, "This looks good." I'm like, oh, this is hopeful. I don't know where it started to like turn, but yeah. But it looks really great. The cinematography, beautiful.
Yeah, and I want to give credit to writer and critic Katie Stebbins. I want to make
Stebbins.
Sure that for coming up with this term. But the complaint that so many movies now are intangible sludge, and it's so true because this movie dabbles in that a little bit, but just these kind of like muddy colors and like not very high contrast, whatever. And so it was very nice to walk into this very colorful movie. And even though like immediately it seems kind of, I think when the kid was about to be shot, I'm like, really? Like, I think that was already starting to lose me a little bit, but I was like, okay, well, this is dumb, but you know, it looks nice. I'm willing to see where this goes.
Well, on that note, they didn't show the kid getting shot, which made me like, oh, maybe this, like, again, movie leading towards something. They cut to the kind of geisha parade, I'll call it.
Yes, in Samurai Town.
And that looks gorgeous, too. They got all these pink lotus blossoms dropping, or cherry blossoms. There's this weird mix of like old world and new world. Like at the end of the shot, they get in a car, which you're not expecting.
Yes, like that was very strange and got a chuckle out of me.
It's cool, but I mean, at this point, this is where a good soundtrack would like really throw some shit home. Like this ethereal, otherworldly going through Geisha Town, and then they get in the car and like a modern pop song is playing, and you're like, oh, hey, hit me, you know?
Right.
But they didn't do that. So, John, basically what I'm asking you is, can you re-edit this movie and put some good music in the background?
Yes, no problem.
And then, just by like next Tuesday?
Yeah, but the less time I have, the better, frankly.
Yeah. I mean, what? I'm just asking you to soundtrack a movie in like 5 days. That's easy, right?
No, it's fine. Yeah, it's not a problem. I just press a button.
Oh, cool. I appreciate that. And like $6-7 an hour. Yep. I mean, don't worry. I'm getting your name out there, though.
Yep, that's right. It's exposure. That's how I make my
which
living.
is where you're going to get most of your pay, is exposure.
Is an exposure. But this is in Samurai Town. The three escaping geishas, one of whom is Knife Feet from Kingsman, Sophia Boutella, and then after they escape, we're introduced to Hero, played by Nicolas Cage. Yeah, so it's the governor.
Yes,
the big bad of the movie, played by Bill Moseley, fantastic character actor, but for me, forever will be Chop Top from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And I can't. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's in my head. Any line he says, my head, he's saying, "Lick my plate, dog dick." Yeah. Regardless of what else he's doing.
Oh wait, is that the one with Dennis Hopper in it?
Yep.
Okay, I have seen that one, and I think I know the guy you're talking about.
Or as I like to call it, the last good one. And even though it's not that great, but it's better than a lot of them.
In comparison to what happens after that, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, he's great in this, like the creepy Southern guy. Dressed all in white, and has sprung Nicolas Cage to go find his quote unquote granddaughter, and it's very much like Escape from New York.
Yes,
because he's like,
very Escape.
Yeah, we're gonna put this suit on you. If you try to escape her, we'll blow your head off. But it's also if you think about hitting a woman, these explosions on your arms, on your elbows, will blow up your arms
and both your testicles.
Well, that's if you have other thoughts about a woman.
Oh, okay.
And I will absolutely give the movie credit for pulling those triggers. They didn't just like, oh, well, we'll make it so it beeps and, we'll set these boundaries. No, they go through with it.
In the sheriff's office, just a small note. Did you notice they just inexplicably have a picture of Lupin the Third in their wanted posters?
Is that who that was? I couldn't see who it was, but yeah.
Yeah, it was just kind of, I don't know. I thought maybe they were hinting at something. I'm not going to do any kind of research, though.
Just more wackiness.
Here's a question for you. So, yeah, they pull Nicolas Cage out. Everybody's got their guns and swords on him.
Yeah,
it's like,
this is, I started up, but yeah, this is when Alex says it's old world and new, it's like old Japanese style, but also like cowboys.
Yeah, it's cowboys, also like the Meiji era, like Japan, and also modern, and also post-apocalyptic.
Yes.
And like, honestly, it kind of works, like it reads. But anyway, so the question for you is, in old-timey Westerns, why is there always that one guy that uses big vocabulary words?
I don't know.
Because he's in this one, too.
Yeah.
It's in every fucking cowboy movie
and
TV show.
I always just think of Jeffrey Jones from Deadwood and how everyone hates him. Although I guess E.B. Farnham does, too. I can't think of that actor's name, but...
Farnham's the one I was thinking of, yeah. The real Weasley guy that runs the motel, right? Yeah.
William Sanderson. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. It's just weird. It's just like this weird trope of like, where the fuck does it come from?
Yeah, some learned guy out in the Old West.
But I mean, there had to be like the guy, you know, like there had to be one guy from like, it's probably from some like our American cousin or something, like from like, 18, whatever, that there's one guy that does it. It's just, now it's forever. We don't even know.
There were all these characters that appeared in that initial sequence that am I supposed to care who these are? There was the long-haired guy who was helping kick the ball around.
I liked him. He had good screen presence.
It was fine, but I was more just like trying to get my footing for the whole thing.
Yeah. And this movie doesn't let you get your footing, which is why there was a lot of time where this movie, like, I don't know if it had me, but kept me open to the idea that it was going to be a good movie.
Yeah. Like you go back and listen to it on our Patreon, the 16 Samurai episode. But like 16 Samurai is a lot more open to just, what did I say? 16?
You said 16.
16 samurais.
16 and then 16.
Yeah.
And then I thought maybe you forgot the name of the movie.
There are 6 samurais dressed like Sting from the WCW.
Yes.
There's 5 dressed like that Sting. 1 dressed like the police Sting.
And they're all going to a 16 Candles cosplay convention.
This is already a better movie. Yeah. There's at least this like, this shit's weird, go with it. Whereas this has some of that, but then it wants to explain a bunch of stuff sometimes, which makes the other stuff worse because you didn't explain it. If you just kind of went, go with it. Because I was thinking about, unsurprisingly, I was thinking about Mad Max Fury Road because there's several touch points in this movie that are very much like that. One of which we've already discussed, the escaped harem. But how that movie like gives you such little information about the world and you are absolutely immersed and go with it because it gives you just enough.
Yeah.
And I wish this movie had a little bit more confidence to do that.
Yeah, the other thing, like on the opening, so on your note, the governor's kind of like that, where it's like, oh, I'm a man that loves black leather, so I'm going to put you in this place. It's just like, shut up, just do it.
Yeah.
But that first scene where Nicolas Cage has a fight sequence before the governor shows up, and like you meet Yasujiro, which I'm going to call Yoshi from now on because that's too many syllables, and Daddy likes to drink. But before he shows up, there is a Captain Kirk from season 3 Star Trek level fights that happen here were just the slowest, most telegraphed punches. I can barely get my foot above my knee kicks. And I mean, Nicolas Cage looks good for a 60-something-year-old. He's doing his best, but like, again, that's not who you want being ass kicking it. It looks real awkward. Like we'll get to it later, but there's scenes later where they have a better way of getting a stuntman in, and it's like, oh, this part looks good. Like, have a good fight happening here.
There is in the making of The Irishman. This was like the first movie Scorsese really did with Pacino, and the first thing they do is a Jimmy Hoffa flashback, and he's supposed to be like 45 or something like that, nomad and getting out of his chair, and like the first direction he had to give him, he had like a director's assistant go give him is like, you're getting out of that chair like a very old man. Like you need to remove 20 years out of getting out of that chair. And that's very true with this, where it's like he seems all right, but then as soon as like some small physicality is involved.
Okay, here, and I'll never say this. I've never said it before, and I'll never say it again. You know who they should have hired for this movie based on acting, but also can do physicality? I don't know if he can do physicality, but he's young.
Who?
Shia LaBeouf.
Maybe. I mean, like, you're not wrong, but I don't want to agree.
He's got the weirdness.
Yeah.
And he's like, 27, 30. Like, I'm sure you could teach him to throw a kick. Like,
man, you're not wrong. That, like, and I mean, like, it's obvious because he gets, it's like, oh, he's kind of like Nicolas Cage and would be accused of being a Nicolas Cage ripoff, but that's fine.
That's fine. Yeah. I mean, if we had time travel, we could totally get a young Nicolas Cage in this. Mm-hmm. It's not his fault. The human body doesn't work as well at that age. It's just not.
Well, I'm sure he's put his body through some paces as well.
Yeah, I mean, he looks good for a 6-year-old. Like, I can't stress that enough. He's still got a little like ab outlines. Like, I mean, he's in better shape than I've been.
Yes.
Since I turned 21.
Yes.
I haven't been in shape anywhere near as good as I've been at 60.
Right. Yeah, and I also love the. They spend how much time they spend explaining each and every detail, because it's not just the exploding things. Then there's the thing on his wrist that Bernice has to say her name into, and it tracks the times, the amount of days. And
instead of just showing the ghosts, they have to go, well, on the road, there's these ghosts, they're apparitions. And just fucking let it happen.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed an important point, though. The governor, the guy with the beardy thing, looks exactly like Jim Carrey. When Jim Carrey grew his beard out.
He kind of does, yeah.
Yeah, he's got like, and I just could like also, this movie, like any kind of like gravity, this could build up. Me thinking of him as Jim Carrey, gravity decreased.
It's gone, yeah. Somebody stopped him.
Oh, that's from one of his movies. Mm-hmm. And that scene where the governor talks out of his asshole, that's
unnecessary.
Yeah. So here's a scene that probably reads well on the page. Doesn't work because of his old man stance to it, is where he jumps out of the car and takes a bike. And no man has ever looked less comfortable on a bike than Nicolas Cage in this sequence.
I don't know how that worked on a page. There's none of that worked. I could see
because again, he's supposed to be a badass. And he's like, fuck this, I'm going to do it on a fucking bike.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't work for the way he's playing it. But again, think of a fit martial arty 20-something. I'm not saying it's great, but like in the way this movie wants to be weird, kind of see it.
I mean, that's
also
I think
kicks the legs out of it because he just gets in the car like 10 minutes later.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's my issue with it, is that it's kind of a stupid joke, and then they immediately get rid of it. So it's like, why? If they had just stuck with it, I'd be less annoyed. But because they make you sit like he's like, no, I'm going to go on the stupid little bike right away, and then immediately, no, you're getting in the car. Okay, why did I just point out do that?
Buddy from Six String Samurai rode a bike and he looked cool.
Yeah.
But so I'm saying, if this movie, we should just get Jeffrey Falcon to remake this movie.
We should.
Around here, we start getting what could be interesting, and again, I think it needs better scoring or soundtrack, where you start to get the dream sequences from Nicolas Cage's perspective, and he's seeing like the people that he killed in his past.
Yeah.
And I think, they look cool. Again, this movie just really needs a better soundtrack, a better score.
It needs a lot, because I think part of the reason I'm so frustrated and bored with it is because like there's a lot of cool things here, and I should be enjoying this more. If this was like Nicolas Cage is on this mission to go like make pita bread, I would like, okay, yeah, this is boring, but I would expect to be this bored about this. But this is like all these elements should be awesome, and they are not.
Yeah, I just got to the point that like the very Six String Samurai thing, which I would love to know if this guy saw that movie, because when the Rat Man, he's wearing monkey wings like the Wizard of Oz, which is the band around death in Six String Samurai. Yep. But he's even doing remember at the end of that movie where he goes, "You killed death. That's so cool. If you ever need a band." The fucking Rat Man does that same weird articulated voice. Yeah. Articulate is the wrong term, but like that voice, it's like he had to have seen the movie, is what I'm saying. So this show is no longer John Alex A stuff. It's now going to be like a true crime-esque thing, or like that guy that tried to figure out about McDonald's pizza. Is we're just going to track down the director of this movie and just be like, dude, you ever seen Six String Samurai?
Six String what? No. Oh, well, the end.
All right, so I guess we're back to John Alex Hate stuff.
Yeah, but no, and I think that was another moment where I fell further away from this movie, because it's, and I don't think it's maybe it is because I've seen Six String Samurai or whatever, but something about like still doing this same shit now.
Yeah.
It was a little bit like, okay, we're still doing this. This like, it just felt like really, I don't want to say like try hard, but more just like this has been done. This is just tired shit.
Also, and I'm not going to keep harping about the same point. It's going to be the last point I make. But just imagine Six String Samurai without the Red Elvis soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like how bad that would be.
Yeah.
And this movie is like that, where like I just 40% better with a good soundtrack.
What about this movie and the soundtrack is just the kid from 16 Samurai going, meh.
Well, when he meets fucking the lady that he's trying to save, what's
Bernice.
her name? When she meets Bernice, she just makes a noise at him.
Yeah, because she can't talk for reasons.
Well, no, because the demon stole her voice.
Right,
the demon that's on the road near the ghosts.
Yeah.
The ghosts that are real, even though they're not real, and it's his ex-partner, and they turn into explosions.
Yep.
Which, again, that sounds awesome if you did it. Yeah.
Who would have guessed that teaming up with a guy named Psycho would have negative consequences?
Yeah. Well, it worked for Psycho Gorman and those two little kids.
That's true, but they did name him.
A very good point. My apologies.
Yeah.
John, I have a question about your blood, if you don't mind fielding it.
No problem. Love to talk about my blood.
Now, I know it's blood. Is it thick and or red?
It's thick, but it's more of a gravy kind of color.
Because I'm confused by her finding a dehydrated guy bleeding and saying he's got thick red blood and somehow that fulfills a prophecy. That is the prophecy of bad medical knowledge.
Yes. Well, it is the apocalyptic future. And I do like the people dancing, telling the story.
Oh, there's a lot of great dancing in this movie.
Yeah.
I love that wall of kind of geisha heads coming through kind of vaginal slits, moving their heads all like kind of snake-like. That looked cool as shit.
And like this is, I don't want to say like all style, no substance, because some of the style isn't even that great, but
yeah, fair enough.
Is like, it's a lot of fluff. But yeah, that there are some visually like, I like, this is an awesome music video. Just cut down some of the great looking stuff, make a cool YouTube video with your favorite, I don't know what songs kids like these days. Imagine Dragons.
There's something called The Weeknd. Is that new?
Yeah. He's in Uncut Gems.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie.
Yes, I know.
Sorry, I just snorted. I made myself laugh so bad I snorted. I'm so sorry. Oh, so anyway, Nicolas Cage's testicle explodes.
Yes. So so he finds and I think I'm extremely irritated at this point because when he finds Bernice in like the Ghostland, this village is just made up of ideas that someone had and didn't think about much other than just like, oh, we're going to have some people fighting against a clock. Like they're going to spend their day pulling
Let me just
the hands
stop you
of a
right
clock.
there. Sorry.
Yeah.
As kind of an anthropology nerd, as like I like religious study, I love them building a society around holding the clock back because they feel like any kind of progress will cause another nuclear explosion.
Sure.
No. Everything else around it is stupid, and they do nothing with the concept.
Yes.
But that concept alone, I think, is kind of gorgeous.
Fair enough. But yeah, they don't really do anything with it. And then, then you have, the guy with all the books that talks fancy. You have the guy who just in public is building mannequins out of women and just covering their faces with. It's not like he's in a room somewhere doing this. He's just on the street. Everyone's like, no, that's what you do.
Well, John, how else do you expurgate your sin? You have to lay out in the sun and have yourself covered in mannequin parts.
Yeah, and it protects them from the ghosts as well. I guess.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you've heard of science.
Yeah, but just like the guy is so like a bad Tim Burton. The idea of a Tim Burton character.
So what he looks like, and this is unfortunate because you haven't seen the show. In Gotham, the greatest show ever made, Mad Hatter shows up. And he wears a big top hat as he does. But he also it like freezes women, I think. It's very like this guy. And he's got the same facial hair and kind of the same build. So that didn't help this movie. Like generally reminding me of Gotham doesn't. I mean, sorry, I forgot. I love Gotham. But that show it did the paces. It deserved what it got. It went there and it did it for itself. You can't ghost ride off fucking Gotham. But Ghost of the Prisoner Land or the fuck this movie is.
But it just felt like a critique of, and we were talking how long ago about fantasy authors and a critique I had read of Patrick Rothfuss, of whom I am very much not a fan, is he doesn't know when to stop being poetic. And that is some of this movie where it's like, oh, you don't have to be wacky right now. You could just have a thing happen. Because some of it feels so like forced and like not like naturally. Because like when I say like this rips off something like Sukiyaki Western Chang or whatever, like this feels like in some ways like a Takeshi Miike movie or something like that. Whereas Takeshi Miike, it seems like that came from somewhere. Whereas this just seems like it's aping that. If that makes any sense. Like it seems like this facsimile of that kind of stuff. And so it's just like you're just piling on ideas to just cover up that there's not really a there.
Sorry, the Miike thing, I'm just going to run through my logic because we skipped over what I wanted to talk about.
Oh, sorry.
No. Like a while ago, I forgot to bring it up. Is Miike, the beginning of Ichi the Killer, the opening, like the title of the movie is shown in semen.
Yes.
So this movie, the opening credits are in blood. And this movie is largely bloodless. Like there's blood jokes, like some guy's head explodes behind a screen. But like most of the, like there's no splatter from any of the samurai swords. There's very little blood when his nut explodes. Like it's like a PG-13 level of blood, which is weird because the Nicolas Cage stuff is done almost as if written in, well, I mean, it looks like the font from a 1997 GeoCities site about vampires, but it is like a vampire, bloody kind of font.
Thank you for visiting my
largely
site.
Bloodless, which is a weird fucking choice.
Yes, no, it's the like the signifier of something replacing the thing itself. Like that having a title that looks like it's written in blood or something, it tells you, like, takes the place of there actually being blood in the movie. Like that this title tells you it's going to be this kick-ass actiony thing, but we're not actually going to have any of that.
Oh, yeah, it's genuinely strange.
Yeah.
So there is we're in this sequence, there's another one of the dream sequences, and it's all in slow motion.
Oh boy.
And I'm screaming, oh my God, stop with the slow motion, because this movie is paced very poorly.
Yeah.
And we find out during this that the scar on Spatula Feet's leg, you're just going to have to sift through it, or if you want to explain to the audience what I just said, feel free to, is actually from the robbery that happened in the beginning of the movie, which is so fucking coincidental. I want to strangle the universe.
Yeah. Did not need to be there.
No. And then you know what makes it worse? Oh, it turns out his partner's there too, and he's one of the ghosts.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, is this a movie supposed to be like a wacky, drug-addled dream sequence from Nicolas Cage's point of view? Or did we just miss the whole point?
Well, you know what would be cool is if, like, when he confronted his like his partner that was the ghost, if there was some kind of what's the word for this, character arc or anything that, like, his character went on a journey and then he could, by confronting this, something could happen rather than just being like, oh, and then this happened. No,
he went on a journey. He went to that, like, other camp.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I meant more like emotional journey.
And then at the end, he brought Ray back to life using the force power he just learned.
Yeah. But
God, modern movies fucking suck.
Yeah. So during this, I don't know if it's because of this or it's right after this, but yeah, he rouses Bernice. He gets Bernice from the mannequin guy and, like, rouses her. And she can't talk, so he can't get her to say her name into his speaky voice thing. But then, like, she drinks water or doesn't drink water sexily, and it causes his testicle to explode.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to give the movie credit that they bothered to do it. It wasn't just a stupid, cheap joke like, watch yourself, we got your, like a fucking, it's a throwback to Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Yeah.
And they actually did it. And God bless you. But only one goes off, so I guess he gets another chance to be. And then horny. He
holds his testicle up, which is chef's kiss.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens between then and there. I don't really care, but his arm also explodes and falls off.
Yeah, well, because they wake back up and then, like, the ghosts show up and, like, with some zombies or something, and they fight them, and in doing so, he punches a woman who's one of the zombies, and that causes his arm thing to blow up. Oh, that's actually here's the specific moment where I ejected from the movie, where I went like, oh shit, we're screwed. Is at the very beginning in Samurai Town, when you're introduced to one of his other, the governor's other, like, I don't know if it's supposed to be like his daughter or something like that, but the young woman with the toy robot.
Oh yeah.
How awkward that all is. I was like,
yes.
This is bad. I feel like this isn't an isolated thing. I bet there's going to be more of this.
Again, I feel like writing that actually could be cool, of this like kind of crazy lady holding out a robot saying like da 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 da.
Yeah, and I don't want to blame the actress, but it did not go. It did not work.
There was a speech. Wait, I don't know. Yeah, he does Nicolas Cage does I always have the same they always have the same dream, but this time the dream was different, and all the people that I heard were helping me. And then at the end, it's because I am radioactive.
Yeah.
What?
And I'm sorry, when Nicolas Cage does it, it makes sense. You're like, yes, you are. You couldn't get Charlotte Booth to do it.
That I heard that.
Yeah.
But like,
it was fun to say.
I have to do a light comedic criticism about this movie shortly. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense. And I think another thing that doesn't happen here, or that doesn't help, is leading up to this, and we kind of touched on it already, is that they're knocked out. He gets back, like they get back up, because he gets his testicle gets exploded. He has a flashback, then he gets back up, and then the mutants show up. They fight. His arm gets blown up. They fight. They get knocked out, and he has another dream sequence. So it's so very much just like, what is even happening now? None of this makes. Is this still part of the dream?
John, on that point, here's a soundtrack idea. So you're saying he gets knocked down, but he gets back up again because they're never going to keep him down.
Mm-hmm. Oh, ain't about no one gonna break my stride. Ain't no one gonna hold me down.
No.
Oh no. I'm Nicolas Cage. I'm radioactive. Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah, because what's more other than Jamiroquai? What's the difference between being held down? It's being on the ceiling.
It's being on the ceiling. Yeah, and Jamiroquai's insanity is just virtual, whereas this is all too real.
Oh yeah, and this is post-apocalyptic. They don't even have computers anymore.
Yeah,
except in the scenes where they have iPhones and they're taking pictures of things with their iPhone.
Yeah.
So let's just skip ahead to he gives a speech to the Ghostlanders. And he stands in front of the clock and he's like, we're going to have to fight back and we'll blah, 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 blah. I lost an arm. I lost a testicle.
Yes. That's great. But I'm sorry to interrupt this momentum here, much like the movie itself. I would like to go back, and during one of their because I think it's during one of their like knockout moments, there's the fucking Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome discussion about how things ended up the way they were. Like the kids in Beyond Thunderdome, there's like Captain Walker painting on the thing where it's just here's some painting. I didn't need to know any of that.
Nope.
Like that was again like needless exposition that.
Well, here's a point though.
Doesn't help things along like right now, other than to introduce that we're going to set up this gag later that doesn't really pay off.
So Nicolas Cage does his roundup speech, which finishes with testicle.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to convince all the it's the obvious shit of like, hey, you have to fight for your blah, 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 blah. But at one point he gets a football helmet.
Yes.
And he does the alas poor York thing.
Uh-huh.
But does he say something different? Or does he just mispronounce York real bad?
I think he says York.
Okay, because it sounded awkward. And I'm like, oh, is there some kind of pun I missed?
No, I don't think so.
Because also, how the fuck does he know that? Isn't this like some kind of Uber? Who gives a shit? Shut up, Alex. Who cares?
Yeah, that's the problem. They don't explain that.
They all gather up and they're like, let's go. Which is nice that even after the apocalypse, they remember Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
That's twice it made you laugh at something embarrassing.
Yep. My life is over. Yeah, and then they go to.
I'm sorry that I hurt your life as you sit in the house that you own with your loving partner.
Yep, it's terrible.
Yep. I live in a basement.
I'm the real victim here. And so then they're about to leave, and the ghosts show up, and then turns out the head ghost is Psycho, his guy, and then he's like, "Oh, it's you," and he's like, "Yeah, you betrayed me." He's like, "Yeah, well," and then Then Psycho leaves.
No, then they turn into a mushroom cloud.
Yeah, then he's like, well, you did something, I'm sure. And then blows them all up.
why did he turn into a mushroom? And I'm not even questioning this in like a fun way. Anyway, so they go.
It's more just like if that came from anywhere, if anything happened, if they even like turned it into a joke or something, but they didn't. They just
Hey John, it came from fucking Hiroshima. You ever heard of it?
I haven't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know anything about United States foreign policy. We're the number one country in the world.
World War I and what started a couple of weeks ago, there was another World War.
Wait, what War One?
Fine. All right. So the Lusitania was all right. So they go back to Samurai Town in their, hey, let's go. We'll fight them together because together we're blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And inexplicably, the sister, what's her name? The robot sister.
Yeah.
Just starts shooting everybody with a Gatling gun that's there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then then there's the big realization of why Nicolas Cage has that helmet on is so they could hide the stuntman. Because all of a sudden he's very good at kicking and punching and looks like he's about 30 years younger. Mm-hmm. It's also revealed, and this is something I kind of wish they showed, secreted a sword in his arm.
Yeah, he built this whole brace, this metal brace for his arm.
But all of his fingers, I guess, had to be broken back and you saw his fingers were all mangled at the end of it. I'm not saying we need, because again, you're right. This movie over-explains. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to do something that ridiculous, maybe like a little, maybe just show a little bit of because we spent 9 minutes in a slow motion fucking dream sequence that we've already seen twice. Maybe the cool part where you shove a sword down your arm, we could spend just like a hair longer.
Yeah. I mean, they explain the wrong thing. They spend a bunch of time with that. It's dumb. It's just very dumb.
Though one of the highlights of the movie happens right now is Bernice gets the sword fight and she's very good at it.
The stakes are very much like, who cares? I don't know what's going on really. I guess I want Nicolas Cage to have his testicles. I guess put a gun to my head. Yeah. Don't take Nicolas Cage's testicles. But the governor seems like a bad guy and he shouldn't have a harem, but what? I don't know who this person is. I don't care. Why am I focusing? I don't know. There's just whatever stakes are there. Again, very little is said in Mad Max Fury Road, but you get it. Here's this guy. He's stealing all the water. He's a big asshole. You can just tell he's bad. That's all you need. This, he's just well, I'm a sex creep, but I have all this control. And if you stop me, that'd be good, I guess. I don't know how everyone's life is altered because of that. I don't know. Not trying to forgive sex creeps, just this movie, the stakes of this movie are not that interesting. Yeah.
No, I'm there with you. They have a fight between the guy I'm going to say Yoshi and Nicolas Cage, and it's kind of stupid. But then there's just a dual nut punching sequence that they both have to make funny sounds when they hit each other's nuts. But let me just you've established he's missing a testicle.
Yeah.
Why not make that Chekhov's nut? And he wins the fight because Yoshi kicks him on the side of the missing testicle, so he recovers more quickly and stabs him in the neck or something. You already have the fucking setup in the movie. What? Maybe
the director just really doesn't like Nicolas Cage's testicles. And
that's true. I mean, if I had the chance to have Nicolas Cage keep getting hit in the fucking ghoulies, I probably would.
That's honestly what most directors go for. And it's a constant, what you're seeing play out on the screen is a struggle between actors and directors, where the directors just want to have it be nut shots for 90 minutes and actors being I'm a human being, damn it.
If directors had their way, it would just be one long human Newton's cradle of just testicles smacking into each other.
Yeah. That was originally terms from endearment. That was in the original script. That's all it was.
God. The governor's you betrayed me, you dirty slut, and then he gets killed. Because no offense to Bill Moseley here, because I do like Bill Moseley, but the governor's not that interesting of a villain either. Beyond the Stakes is just I'm a bad guy. I don't really feel the same comeuppance when she gets him, because I don't care. So the movie is basically over, and they go back to the Ghostland. And one of the little kids runs back to the Ghostland and says, "The governor's dead! Yay, yay!" And the whole Ghostland celebrates.
Yeah.
The Ghostland doesn't know who the governor is.
Yeah, I don't
They
really.
can't
Again,
leave because of the ghost, not the governor.
Yeah.
They go, we're free. We're free. Free from what? That had nothing to do with it. You were free when he blew up Psycho earlier. It has nothing to do with the governor. Oh, speaking of not making sense, you know what happens here? The clock explodes.
Right, yes, because they let time happen and then the clock explodes. That's good this time.
John, the clock explodes.
Yeah. Here's a question for you. Did you ever watch Designing Women?
I did.
Do you remember their wacky friend, Bernice?
No, I remember the guy that may have played the guy from Hollywood from Mannequin.
It was Hollywood Montrose, Meshack Taylor.
And I remember Delta Burke, but no, I do not remember their friend Bernice.
They had a wacky friend named Bernice, and if it was her in this role instead of Sophia Boutella, it would be so much better of a movie.
Okay, yeah, she looks somewhat familiar to me. She's played by Alice. Oh my God, John, do you see who she's played by?
Alice Ghostly.
Alice what?
Ghostly, yeah.
What movie we're watching?
Alice Ghostly in the Wasteland.
Yeah, exactly.
Prisoners of the Ghostland.
Oh my God, talk about synchronicity.
So yeah, if you want to watch some Bernice-based things, definitely watch Designing Women over Prisoners of the Ghostland.
The movie ends with the quote, "Samurai Town is going to be a beautiful place someday." You mean the idyllic place that's full of cherry blossoms that we showed earlier?
Yeah, but now people aren't having sex with the governor, so it's going to be better.
Yeah, I know. Sex work is fucking dirty and terrible, and why would you ever need to make your bones of that? No, you should sit in an office for 40 hours a week. That's much better than fucking a couple dudes. Well, yeah, it does. Yeah.
I see your point, but the governor was a piece of shit. I mean,
whatever. He's got money. That's what I'm saying. It's all that about,
that makes everything fine.
Your donuts would taste better if your geishas weren't being brought for their cheddar.
That's true. I don't even know why you had to say that out loud.
Can we be done talking about this movie?
I would love to.
All right. So I'm going to speak for John, which I rarely do. I speak over him frequently, but not for him. I would just like to say this movie fucking sucks. Don't watch it. Here's the only way you can watch it. If you're like listening to music and doing some work around your apartment and you want something playing on the TV that there's scenes that look cool, there's some value to this. I rented this movie off of YouTube using free credits I got from Google for answering surveys. So this movie is literally free. And I spent too much money on it. Do not watch this movie, and John agrees with me.
Yeah, I would say watch, go check out this guy's other work. Go check out his I've heard a couple of different titles that interested me. Like, Why Don't You Go Play in Hell, I think was one. Why Don't You Play in Hell? And the trailers for this, I'm willing to go check it out. I'm willing to give this guy another shot, but this sucked. Go watch some Takeshi Miike movies. Go watch so many other, do a Google search for influences on this movie and then go watch the movies they suggest. Because those are going to be better than this. Go watch 16 Samurai, which I didn't, has not held up. But
watch 16 Samurai and then sign up for our Patreon at patreon.com/AlexBollen, ALEXXBOLLEN. Listen to that. We talk about it. We're doing a series of Jackie Chan movies right now on Patreon that you can listen to if you sign up. And we've done many, many, many episodes at this point on Patreon. So we've got a few years worth. So it's definitely worth the $5 that you could. I think actually it might be $1. I don't know.
But you could also check out what we recommend in this week's recommendations. Alex.
No, I think you should just sign up for Patreon.
Oh, and but
I want this to be purely mercantile at this point. Yeah. All right. So, John, do you have any recommendations for our lovely, lovely free audience that I would never say anything bad about on Patreon? And you should never sign up for Patreon to hear what we said about you.
But I did dip into the well of nostalgia, and Shudder just got all 3 Darkman movies. And I rewatched the first one, which when I was 12 years old, I absolutely loved. And I still absolutely love, but for much different reasons now. It is goofy as hell, and it's probably not a great movie, but man, I had fun watching it.
I watched that a lot when I was a kid. I remember it being really goofy. I remember him having super strength and trying to win stuffed animals at the carnival for his girl.
Yeah, but it's perfect for that your pubescent boy, because it's things happen to his body that he can't control, and he's full of rage all the time.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, it's Sam Raimi. It's back when comic movies could actually be fun. And it's very campy and over the top. And
you watched the sequels like The Darkman I was raised in Germany. Die Darkman Die.
No, I haven't. I have not I haven't had the time to check those out yet. But the first one was definitely a welcome revisit.
I want to revisit it. I really like the Darkman movies when I was young.
And again, like, I'm not saying it's good, but man, I had fun watching it.
I don't think I've watched it since pubescence. Since it was directed directly at my fucking hippocampus.
And it's funny because like the main character is Liam Neeson and his love interest is Frances McDormand. And there's a conversation they have about like moving in together. Like, you guys are like 90. What are you talking about moving in together?
Oh, good God. But Frances McDormand is oh, wow.
Yeah, because like they don't look that young in it, even though they are. But it was, back when people didn't look like, I don't know. I saw some video not that long ago of like, oh, this was a high school in the 1980s and everyone looks like in their 40s.
Yeah.
But go check out Darkman.
So I'm sorry to keep doing the I recommend books on a comedic movie podcast show, but I'm not that sorry. Dude, this is movie related. Fuck you. Shut up, John. I can't believe you'd argue with me. I just read The Prestige, which I very much enjoyed, but is one of the very, very few examples of the movie did it better.
Like Harry Potter.
Yeah, I mean, you're lucky we're not in the same room right now. Because I would blow up your testicle with a Patronus, some kind of improvised explosive. But The Prestige was really good. It's a really solid book. I enjoyed it. It's significantly different from the movie, that you can get a lot out of it, even if you've seen the movie. But the movie did it a lot more expediently, and I think some of the kind of twists play out a little bit better. Like in the book, it's pretty goddamn telegraphed. I know I've seen the movie first, so I can't really say it's telegraphed, but I think if I read it cold, it's pretty telegraphed. But like, very solid book. It's just a rare occasion where the book's good and the movie's better. I can only think of Fight Club and Princess Bride. There's like a handful that the movie becomes better. So
I had no idea that it was a book first. That's interesting.
I mean, I hope it was a book first, because no.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Which I found out there are 2 different novelizations of Friday the 13th Part 3.
Which one's Part 3?
The one in 3D.
What they didn't know is that the frog boy was all grown up, and he had an angry chip on his shoulder, a chip in the shape of his mother.
The mother
it's pretty
chip.
Good, right? I should write horror movie novelizations.
Yeah, you should. I know I've told this story before, man, and on the podcast, but the time I went to go see Transformers, I think it was Dark Side of the Moon, or I don't remember which one it was, but the person at the ticket counter was like, "It's good, but the novelization is way better." I want to be like, actual books exist, but you're reading, so that's fine. That's fine.
Here's what just happened. I had a wave of emotions right there, which my first thought was, that's a really funny joke. And then you had to say that extra sentence. I'm like, oh my God, that was real.
Yeah.
Because like, in no way in my brain would that ever be a real statement a human would make.
Yeah, no, this is a real statement a person made. And like, they really go into the nest a lot more, and you get a lot more like character. And it was like, a friend said the same thing about the Terminator 2 novelization when we were in 6th grade. So I'm like, that's true. That is very true.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
But at least 6th grade, that's kind of all right.
Yeah, but you like what you like, I guess. This person liked books about Transformer movies.
Oh, God, that's rough. I mean, the novelization of Transformers, the movie from '86, is great. I mean, when they actually wrote down all the lyrics to Dare to Be Stupid for an entire chapter, mwah.
Actually, that would be pretty great. Like, if it's written the way that, like, if you ever listen to Jackie Chan describe his stunts, there's like, and he flips like, pshaw! Oh, yeah. Like if it's written like that, that would be pretty cool. And then Optimus Prime is like, yeah.
Chapter 4. Ba weep na nini ba.
It's all like James Joyce. It's the whole chapter is just a run-on sentence about Destructor's testicles.
It's funny.
All right, so next week we're done with some nonsense on planet Earth. We thought we'd do some nonsense up in space and revisit our old pals, the Star Wars, and do Rogue One. considered by some to be the best of the Disney Star Wars. Considered by other people to be a movie I fell asleep during. So I'm curious to rewatch it and see if it's any good.
Well, I would just make one small caveat here.
That's it.
You falling asleep during Disney era Star Wars, that doesn't disclude it from being the best of them.
Yeah, no, it still could be fine.
I mean, because we're like, this might be the tastiest of the dog food.
Because I can't, because it's not like I fell asleep because it was bad. I was traveling and I was very jet lagged when I saw it. So, but maybe it is. We'll see. But we haven't done a Star Wars in a while, and we're not doing The Force Awakens. So let's do this one.
Poor Gullet.
Isn't there? There's a Kenobi movie coming out. Or
there's a Kenobi TV show coming out very shortly.
Because they're taking
and I
them
saw
off
the
Tatooine.
preview for it, and I'm very looking forward to being highly disappointed by it.
Yeah, so he's no longer on. He's going to be on Tatooine, but not on Tatooine. Is that the?
Well, he's on Tatooine, and in the preview, they show him looking those fancy binoculars he has at Luke Skywalker sitting on the roof of his little sand igloo, and Joel Edgerton is there, and the lady that plays his wife.
So he's grooming Luke Skywalker. That's creepy.
No, he's grooming to be a Jedi, which is a guy that likes hanging out with other men, grasping long swords. And ew. Ew.
Yeah. Checkmate.
No, I think my force just awoken.
Damn it.
Rogue One. Let's watch it. It's going to be great. It stars that lady that isn't Daisy Ridley, but might as well be.
Yeah.
Some other people.
Mads Mikkelsen and Ben Mendelsohn. Two M names that I'm a big fan of. And I don't know, other people are in it.
Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah. They'll let the Force be with you.
And the guy that plays the pilot, who I like, but I don't remember his name.
Oh, Riz Ahmed.
Yeah, Riz Ahmed. I like Riz Ahmed.
Yeah, this is a star-studded cast.
Yeah, I enjoy the movie, but I haven't seen it in quite a while, so my steam for Star Wars just is steadily on a decline. So it's just gonna be
whatever was there is pretty much gone now. But I remembered liking this one okay, so maybe that'll do something. We'll see.
All right, well, we'll see you next time. Remember to do the Patreon stuff, rate, review, subscribe, all that crap that other podcasts tell you to do. That'd be great if you did it, because any little bit helps, because that's the way the universe works.
Yep.
And let's face it, John and I are lazy. We're not going to promote the shit for ourselves, so it's on you, the audience.
Yep. Your fault.
All right, bye.
Goodbye.